Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. How are we, good people? It is the most miserable of mornings here at Jester Towers as the rain pours and the skies are darkened like something out of a Gothic Dickens novel. But nevertheless, I am with you, here prepared today to discuss legal eagles, beagles, and in one case, weasels, in the form of Harriet Harperson. I don't know why. I can't stand her. She's a bloody aging hippie reject. I blame the hippies. Bloody Simon and Garfunkel warbling twerps. A lot of them, right? But this is about the world of the legals, the barristers. There's a fight brewing amongst the upper middle classes and their shabbily quaffing, cheeseboard eating comrades. So, this is quite. Before we start, because I've got a bit to say about this, but before we start, come and be a warrior teacher. Buy me a coffee. Subscribe the usual. I'm feeling more on form today than I have for the last few days. We have to continue. So let's continue with this particular story, which I find quite entertaining. I'm sure there are many that won't find it entertaining, but I do. Barristers prepare for clash with the culture police. Fascinating. From The Telegraph by Lewis Goss. Plans to crack down on misbehaving lawyers have sparked concerns over privacy and free speech. I love the idea of misbehaving lawyers. We never did a carry-on lawyering, did we? We should have done a could you imagine? With Hattie Jakes as the judge and Kenneth Williams as some pinch-nosed bloody prosecutor. No, Lord, guilty. Or Sid James. It would have been great, but we never did a carry-on lawyering. We should have, because certainly this last few years, I think that the law has not exactly showered itself in golden glory. And there's a hidden meaning in that remark if you've seen Personal Services. Just golden rain, Miss Stern. So, the barrister's profession is on the cusp of a culture war over plans to stop lawyers from misbehaving. They're talking about them like they're children. It's just surreal. After a string of harassment and bullying scandals engulfing the centuries-old profession, industry regulators are considering plans to toughen up rules to prevent highly paid barristers, some of whom can earn £5,000 an hour, from bringing the bar into dispute. After a string of harassment and bullying scandals, well, why is the law not involved with the law? If people are harassing and bullying others and it's illegal, they should be arrested, shouldn't they? Well, that's what you'd have thought. Following a 129-page report from Baroness Harman, oh God, earlier this month, which identified persistent bullying, harassment, and sexual harassment among barristers, industry watchdog Bar Standards Board is weighing up plans to introduce a number of recommendations. What the fuck? Why are we still listening to this woman? I mean, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's find a grievance merchant, an intersectional lunatic, and get her to write a report. Yeah, that's going to end well, isn't it? Earlier this month, this is all about this bullying. The former deputy Labour leader, has called for a range of measures to overhaul the bar's culture, ranging from compulsory anti-bullying training to an outright ban on barristers having sexual relationships with trainees. There's absolutely no lengths these tossers will go to treat adults like children. No lengths that they won't go to. This is outrageous. It's outrageous. It also calls for tougher punishments for wrongdoing and even sanctions for those who fail to report misconduct that they've seen. Absolutely insane. What should we do? Let's bring in Nanny Harman. She's like the anti-Mary Poppins. Absolute bloody lunatics. Grow up, the lot of you. Twats. But despite the good intentions, all right, some in the profession fear the shake-up is going too far. They are concerned that some of the changes are paving the way for a chilling crackdown on free speech and intrusion into the private lives of barristers. Do you think? Is it me, or does this smack of they've suddenly realised what it is they've let out? Right? They've let out this horrific leftist control freak nanny state parental toxicity monster, and now it's coming for them. So forgive me if I'm not like, oh my gosh, all of these people who've been bullied and harassed. These aren't bloody wilting flowers, right? Jesus on Christ on a bike. These are some of the strongest people in the country. Lady Harmon's report itself comes at a sensitive time for the BSB. The watchdog already faced a significant backlash over plans that would make it obligatory for barristers to act in a way that advances equality, diversity, and inclusion. I just caught a fly. Right, it's still there. Go away. Bloody flies. So they couldn't get it that way. God damn, we couldn't get the EDI in. What do we do now? I know. Let's talk about something that would be really hard for people to object to. Just they're mad. But in the wake of Lady Harmon's report, some lawyers say the BSB is a risk of going too far again and making the bar, the name given to Britain's barrister profession, a place where political correctness takes precedence over free speech. It's glorious, isn't it? It's glorious. This kind of nonsense has got to stop. All of it has to stop. Yep, we want to stop people being bullied and harassed. But, if people are bullied and harassed, they can go to the police. Or they can stand up for themselves. Cut it out. What the hell are you doing? Andrew Pavlovic, a partner at CM Murray, says if the proposal pursued, an overhaul of the BSB could see it take a more interventionist approach, like the one adopted by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. These are these bloody quangos interfering in everybody's lives, So if you're having sex and they're not happy about it, they're outside the door looking through the keyhole, going, "Yeah, we aren't having any of that, are we? No, we must stop this. Must stop this terrible behaviour by adults that we don't like." Go away is my response to this. But you have a look for yourself. But I think it's absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane, really. Right. This guy continues, Pavlovic. He says the SRA's own approach has successfully shifted the dial when it comes to culture inside the UK's big law firms, in part because of its willingness to sanction firms themselves if they found they didn't have the right culture in place. Holy shit. Holy shit. This has all of it's got to go. Stop interfering in other people's business, you bloody regulatory monsters. In particular, the SRA has taken an active approach towards punishing acts of personal misconduct amongst solicitors. It has issued serious sanctions against dozens of lawyers for transgressions ranging from drunk driving to grinding against their colleagues in karaoke bars. What the hell are you doing? Get out of people's lives. Now, if you had been a drunk driver, you get done for drunk driving. Then from that perspective, most people would lose their job. Why aren't they losing their job? They've been punished by the law, but you want to come in and give them a secondary punishment. And if you're getting grinded against by a colleague in a karaoke bar, then speak up for yourself. Shame them. You don't need some overarching nannying body to tell you whether or not you've got it right or wrong. Absolutely, utterly insane in my mind. You might think I'm wrong. I'm sure many will. I want this kind of nitpicky nonsense gone. We've got everything we need to protect ourselves. It's called the law, and these people are in the middle of it. If you're getting harassed at work, then say something. But you better make sure it's harassment and not something just because you've been offended. This is all nonsense and it all has to go. I still want to carry on lawyering. Get me a carry on lawyering. Right? That's what we want. Bring them back from the dead so we can have it. Go and have a read for yourself. It's absolute bloody nonsense from beginning to end. Sick of all these scraps. But it's Harperson's at the centre of it. What a surprise. She really is a miserable, aging, disgruntled Trotskyist bloody hippie. All right? End it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.